sleeve, and I think that's so cool. And it, especially for me growing up, a kid that got because I like, things that all of us like. And I think that you wear it on your sleeve and you make us proud to be fans of these things. But what were some of the franchises and characters that got you so invested into your fandoms?
So my Uncle Gus is a comic book artist, and that was a big reason how I first got initiated into the cult of comics. And literally, he would not let me touch them. He'd have them all in the sleeves and everything, and we would sit back to back like this. So I wouldn't touch them, and I also wouldn't breathe on them. Like, this is how heavy it was. That's why we had to sit back to back so I could read it like that, and then I would not, and then he would flip the pages. So when I tell you that I was raised to thinking like comics were like sacred text, like I absolutely mean that. So this is one of the reasons why when my team first shared that people were doing auditions of Sin City, oh, what up, Grogu? Hi.
That's the cutest thing, right?
Yes, so we're going to start this movie without a stick. Who's walking time?
I think you just saw the robot.
You can't hear him. He's talking to me in his head, and he said, "What's up, Mel?"
It's as if you walked right out the set. So,
Really, he's not mad at me for not taking him on the way back one. I appreciate that. I have my own Mandalorian now.
Looking back, when you were doing your research for Ahsoka, watching the Clone Wars and Rebels, what was the biggest thing that intrigued you about playing the character live action?
Well, honestly, just that her story continued. Like I remember the very first thing when Boss Logic first fan cast me as the character, my first response to it was #Ahsoka lives. And, it was just really cool. Like, I remember when I first put on the costume that Shauna had made, and I'm like jumping up and down, like literal jumping jacks, that I was, John and Dave were looking at me like, I think reconsidering. Like, they were like, I think she's a little excited. But I remember putting it on and just feeling so amazed because it was a cosplay. This was a new costume. This was a new adventure she was going on. And I had no idea where the story was going because I only had that one episode of Mandalorian, and there was no guarantee of anything else afterwards. So I didn't know at all the arc that I'd end up with a Padawan sorry, spoiler alert. It was just so exciting. So I think I love, that I just happened to be the right age to play her at this stage of the game, because I would have thought I was long since aged out of getting that opportunity. But it's really cool to see where she's at now, not just like light of dress now, but I think light of spirit. And I'm very curious to see now where she goes with it in the story. Obviously, with her past a little bit more healed doesn't mean that I think her present and her future is not going to be insane since Thrawn is on the loose. But I'm excited to see where the adventure continues.
When you showed up in Man, I have a little girl, and I made her watch Star Wars. We've been watching it chronologically, and we happened to get to your episode of The Mandalorian, and I didn't tell her that you were going to be in it, and I wish I would have recorded her face. Her jaw dropped to the floor to see Ahsoka in live action, and to this day, she loves you, she loves Ahsoka, it's incredible. By the way, Boss Logic, shout out to him. I feel like he should be like a casting director.
Actually, absolutely. No, he's the dude. I have to say, I watched some of those videos of people's first responses and stuff, and like, it brings tears to my eyes. Like, it's such a big deal. I have a documentary called Common Ground about regenerative farming and healthy soil practices, and have a son named Jedi. Like, so they're very obviously into Star Wars. And their daughter, they said, is manic about the kind of shit. They end up not watching very many things because she calls them out for not having enough female characters. And they'll sit down and start watching something. She goes, "This is boring. Where are all the girls? Like, I don't like this." And they'll force them to turn it off. And so he was like, we play a lot of board games in our house. But he said he was already on the third episode of Ahsoka, and she came in from school with her backpack, and he said she just froze in front of the screen and just stood there for a while. He was like, "Do you want to sit down?" And she was sort of like, "Yeah." And then kind of like sat down and watched the rest of it through 8 with him. And then, obviously it's late by that point, so Rebecca's like, "Time for bed." She was like, "Can I brush my teeth and put my pajamas on? Can I watch it from the beginning?" And they literally then watched the first 2 episodes that she missed. And she just marathoned it in one day, and just so excited to see so many female characters. That brought me to tears when I first heard that story. He's like, that's just one story of one girl in one household, just thinking about what that impact is. And he was like, and as well for my son to see it. Like, it's a big deal.
That's incredible. Absolutely. Now, what's the biggest thing you want to see personally happen to Ahsoka moving forward as she evolves? Not what's going to happen, but what you want to see happen.
I don't know. I think I hope she comes home now. Gonna flip on that story. But I think, I'm hoping that there's some levity and some lightness that can kind of come to her. I really liked that kind of spunky energy she had when she first came on the scene. I know that rubbed some people the wrong way, but I really dug that. Natasha very much has that spirit in Sabine to perform. So I would really like to play with that a little bit. But I love it because, Dave compares the sort of evolution of Ahsoka very much in the frame of Gandalf.
Oh, sure.
And it's incredible to experience someone with that kind of level of expertise and power still have places to evolve to and transform to. And as he does it, he becomes lighter, in spirit, and there's more smiles and funny, and that's kind of what I would love, because I think Ahsoka's been going through it, and I just want to give her some more smiles in there.
Absolutely.
And not just because I'm speaking it because, Mark's on set.
I think Dave is an absolute genius. I love what he's done with Star Wars, and I feel like it's in good hands. Is there any piece of direction or insight that he was able to give you into the character that you didn't have before when you were doing research?
What?
Didn't have before, like any insight, anything that he was able to give you?
I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to put even a one specific thing, because I was saying this to someone actually in the line earlier today. What's fascinating is there isn't always a lot of dialogue, and I've even argued sometimes to take some dialogue away, which is crazy, but he gives us so much subtext to play all of the time, and I'm just so grateful for, as you said, the genius of him. He's like a walking encyclopedia of Star Wars. It's insane. And I really love how real he makes her feel, so I feel like after having conversations with him, I really imagine, what is the actual version of her that exists in real life. Like, let's not just keep this in a fantasy space. And so it really starts making me think of people like Bruce Lee and people whose level of excellence and discipline are something that we're still mystified by today, because it almost seems inhuman, but they are, right? And the gradients of it. I got to meet Shannon Lee, who's Bruce's daughter, and she was telling me that as much as people know, just looking at him, to see his physical discipline, but actually, he had volumes of books, over 2,000 books. He had tons of journals and his philosophizing, and she was he exercised his mind as much as he did his body. And that was just something that I really took with me, was sort of just kind of grounding her. And I recognize, even as you talk to someone like Dave, it is so his life. He lives and breathes it. And I appreciated that from the very beginning, that by saying yes to this role, that it's going to be transformative, not just in a sort of career move, but a very personal way. And Ahsoka is not someone you can just take off even when you take those headphones off. And that's been probably the greatest gift and thing that I've learned from this. It's not just play, it's life.
Absolutely. Want to play one game? Kind of like heads up?
I get really competitive. Also, I get really anxious. So on the other flip side, I don't know if I'm ready.
Well, here's how this is going to work. There's going to be characters that pop up on these screens. You are not allowed to look. You can ask yes or no questions, and the audience is going to help guide us whether or not you can guess the character. Make sense?
This is going to not be great. You know why? I honestly thought I was just like had Alzheimer's, like really onset Alzheimer's. I am terrible at remembering names.
It's okay.
Like,
These are all
I'm
characters.
just bad at it.
I'm with you.
Especially on the fly, like I'll sit there. I literally, honestly, sometimes have to try to remember my daughter's name. Like it's not a joke. I'm like, Isabel, right. Cool. So I'm just saying.
We'll see what happens. We're gonna be alright. Let's put this first character on the screen. Is that okay? Alright, you can ask yes or no questions.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is he black?
No.
Does he have a lightsaber?
No. Not yet.
Am I assuming it's a he?
Yes.
Does she?
Yeah, no, everyone got that one.
Droid?
Correctly assuming he.
Oh, correctly assuming he. I'm really following my own. So it's a he. Young?
Very.
Oh, is it Grogu? No cheating. That was not nice. I suddenly looked over and Grogu was like,
Great job.
good on you, man. Good on you. I appreciate you.
Are you ready for the next one? That was good. Okay.
Oh.
I think, is he scary?
No.
Is he scary?
No.
Is it a person?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Lightsaber?
No.
Batty?
No.
Is it a zaddy? No. Batty?
No.
Batty!
No.
I was gonna say, because it has to be Ezra. What is the,
Well, it doesn't also have to be Star Wars related.
Oh, it doesn't!
No.
Okay. That makes this way more challenging. Is it a TV character?
Yes.
Yeah. Ish. It's also, I mean, I'll give you a hint.
Animation?
Also.
Skeletor?
No. I'll give you a hint though.
Okay.
It's a character you played.
Wonder Woman?
Alright, let's move on.
What am I thinking of though for... It's not Jar Jar. It's,
In Star Wars?
yeah.
Who?
Jabba! That's why I
Jabba.
said Patty, guys. I just wanted to say why, because I was thinking it was Jar Jar.
Yes. Jabba. Let's put the next one
It was
up.
Jar Jar. And then you guys get, because there's a whole thing about Ezra being Jar Jar. Okay, so tell me y'all.
Okay, we have the next one up. You ready?
Okay, yeah.
Go.
Movies?
Yeah.
Live action?
Yeah.
Human?
Yeah.
This is so fire, right? Song, actually. Hero?
Yes.
Is it fish? Alright, why did Indiana Jones come into that? Earlier, and I don't know why when the ish hit, I was like, yeah, he kind of is problematic.
You're way better at this.
That is weird. I think Grogu. I think Grogu's still cheating. He's like sending me messages.
I think you're a Jedi in real life. I think you're mind melding somebody. Okay, you ready for the next one?
Is that mind melding Star Trek?
That's right.
Look who's crossing the stream.
Hey man, we're at Fan Expo. Alright, you ready for the next one?
Sure. I feel like I should have done that one more. It's not gonna get any better, guys. Sorry. Okay.
Okay, good.
Animation?
Yeah.
Okay. Something I work on?
Yeah.
New?
Yeah. It's been out for a little bit.
Okay. specifically because there are not a lot of brown Legos. So he called me up to tell me, yo, solid, yo, you hooked me up, I got a brown Lego, and then proceeded to take all of my costume off just to use my head so that he could use it in his D&D storyline. I'm gonna tell you, it's the most fire thing to watch your 6'5" brother, like, putting little Legos together still as a 40-year-old man to make his D&D story, like, stop motion videos.
I think your brother's someone I want to hang out with.
He's fire. Also, sorry, no, I'm kidding. He is a great dungeon master, and he feels so sad that he doesn't have himself for his own dungeon master because he comes up, like, he'll set the mood, he'll put, like, candles, he'll do, like, specific foods and things. Like, he's really amazing. He has a standing game that he does, like, every Sunday for years.
I have never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I want to so badly. But I don't have friends.
I mean, you're in the right place.
They won't play with me, I guess. I know. Hopefully your brother. I'll get your brother's contact to join his campaign. Now we do have some fan questions that were sent in to Fan Expo Canada. This first one is from Tomorrow9 on Instagram. He said, "What's your process of getting into a character? It could be Star Wars or any of your favorite projects."
Memorizing lines. No. I like to do a lot of research, honestly. That was one of the greatest gifts actually with Ahsoka because there was so much history to look at. That's not always the case. And sometimes, depending on the project, a director or something isn't so great with setting up the whole tone or background of character. I feel like I was spoiled very early on in my career. I was people like Spike Lee and Kevin Smith and people just like very will overshare, about the details, and sometimes that's not the case. So I tend to just do a lot of research for myself, and I would say every character that pretty much I've played, there's maybe been an exception here or there where I just kind of wanted to work with a director or shoot in that location. I've just always done something that just emotionally really moves me. Especially when the character is dramatic and you have to be emotional in it. Like we did Rent, a lot of the things that I would talk to. I mean, 6 out of the 8 originals, so to them it was like brushing their teeth or riding a bike. Like it was so easy for them to kind of jump in. And they had so much fun kind of expanding on it and transforming it from a theatrical performance to a film one, a cinematic one. But Tracy went to Juilliard, so I'd sit there and be like, how am I supposed to cry all day? Like we set ourselves up doing, the reprise, I'll cover you reprise, and we're there at Angel's funeral. And starting off, it's like we're all ugly crying like hardcore, but then like you're shooting 16 hours, and you're like, how do I keep, I'm dehydrated, like I don't know how to keep doing it. And I remember, this one we went to Juilliard, she got the best of the training, and her advice to me to keep crying was, dead puppies, dead puppies, dead puppies. Right? That'll get you there, right? That holds you in that emotional place. There you go, you're welcome. If you ever need to cry on cue, dead puppies. Sad? It's terrible.
Yeah,
it does still work. Honestly, what still works though is listening to I'll Cover You Reprise. I literally start to hear the beginning bars of this.
Actually, this rolls right into the next question from Brewski983 on Instagram. When filming particular emotional scenes, what do you find works best for you to get in that headspace and still be able to come out of it in between takes?
Oh, yeah, I definitely come out of it in between takes. I've been very moved by people I've met who stay in character the entire time and continue with the accent and stuff. That's just such a vibe. But I'm actually kind of notoriously known for being really emotional and hysterical or angry or whatever it is, and then in between. So I don't know. I think it's just again being really emotionally connected to the character, really feeling very invested in putting myself in that person's shoes. I've played a lot of characters that I don't agree with, whose choices I would absolutely not make, that I couldn't fathom making. And it's been one of the greatest pleasures of my life to put myself in that other person's shoes and find their humanity, even as I disagree with them. And I think that's really transformed me personally, to not take for granted so much and to ask more questions.
Amazing. That's incredible. There you go. This one is from Jedi Dave 74. He says, what
Do you
channel?
know pick the questions if they're like actual name things or appropriate to be said out loud? Like, do certain questions just get bypassed because like there's a problematic app name that was attached to it?
I didn't pick the questions, but I assume
I
there has to be
assume so, yeah.
there has to be some vetting.
Names are pretty good.
Yeah, Jedi Dave 74, shout out to you. What challenges did you face while learning lightsaber combat with two lightsabers?
Not originally being ambidextrous. Yes. So that's been really fun actually, is doing more things with my left hand. It's kind of been now, 6 years now since we started. I've become very good with my left hand. I write pretty well with it. I was eating with chopsticks yesterday with my left hand. I've ended up doing a lot more stuff with my left hand. I'm very excited to tell you.
I didn't know that you could train yourself to
Yeah, it's supposed to be very good for your brain.
Interesting.
Yeah, but you do left hand now.
I'm going to start.
Or the right on your left.
There you go. This one's from Jack_Henry_Kaufman_Kornblum. So maybe there is no betting with some of these things. What was your favorite scene to film in Ahsoka?
Did you hear? Like he was definitely shouting out. Yes, Grogu, it was with you. Thank you. I did that shot that you see, it's sort of like in behind the scenes stuff where I put my forehead to his forehead. And I remember doing it in the scene and thinking this is too much, right? I'm probably getting orange on his forehead. And Dave was gonna say something and be like, this doesn't work. And then it wasn't in the scene and I was like, okay, yeah. And then it was all over everywhere else because he loved it and he actually drew it for me. And so it was a really, really sweet moment. So, yeah.
Amazing.
Honestly, that was the first time I got to use the force. You know, doing the stone towards him and then seeing what that whole process was very cool.
Now, this one's from Facebook, from Michael Gregorian. Bio Jean. Oh, is that you? Oh, okay. He says, one of Ahsoka's quotes is, you don't have to carry a sword to be powerful. Some leaders' strength is inspiring greatness in others. Who inspired you? Who inspired you?
Wow, good question, man. A lot of people inspired me. My grandmother inspired me.
Tim Curry?
Oh no, thank you very much. Nothing wrong with that. So Tim Curry is my favorite person on the entire planet besides everything. And he is a huge inspiration for even the type of work that I've done. Like I've made sure, you know, when I had things set before me, it was like, well, I haven't done an voice in animation, or I haven't worked with prosthetics before, you know, doing comedy. Like his range of from drama to just, you know, darkness and Clue and Firm Belly and It. I mean, I'm just absolutely obsessed with that man, and I even got to do a reading of the Rocky Horror Picture Show with him, which was insane. And I like to tell people it's in my blood because my mom dressed up like Frankenfurter when she was 8 months pregnant with me. And I'll never forget telling him that my mom was a pregnant Frankenfurter, and he was like, Frankenfurter love to be pregnant.
Incredible, absolutely incredible.
I wish we had it on video.
No, I would too. That'd be amazing. This one's from Sunny B 42069. So I guess there is no betting with this one. When you were around Grogu, do you just want to cuddle?
Yes. So I was there. The only time George Lucas has come to visit on set of any of the shows was on that Mandalorian episode. And Jon Favreau took that like blurry picture of him that like almost broke the internet. I was standing right next to him. I got cut out. But it was so dope to see George like staring into Grogu's beautiful eyes. Your teeth are a little scary, to be honest, but like your eyes, so cute. And it was just awesome because, you know, they've got it's actually an interesting bit of trivia because the guys who operate Grogu and all of the droids on the show are also the guys who operated the Worm guys in Men in Black 2. And to like continue to see the technology develop, like he's rolling around and waving his arms all by himself, which is absolutely incredible. Because I always like to say that Pedro Pascal is a brilliant actor always, but especially for selling that moment with Grogu when the helmet came off and the little hand touched the face. Because there was a dude like this. Gray suit off camera, and he made that feel so emotional, but there's literally I mean, that's hard. That's hard to perform like that. And he killed it. So love to you, Grogu, and love to Daddy.
Rosario, we love seeing you at these events like Fan Expo Canada, Fan Expo Chicago. Is there anybody you say that's starstruck by? There's so many talented people.
Yeah, and stars are really violent, so they strike me regularly. No, I have to say, like, my really big one, huge one, was being in Chicago years ago. I got to meet Carrie Fisher. And again, I've known Hayden since we were teenagers. I remember when he got the role, like, I could have just never imagined that I'd have that connection with this whole world. And neither then when I met Carrie. But I just remember the whole place shut down. It was completely empty. And she still had a line around the corner, her and her little dog, just like saying hello to everyone and having this great moment. And it was just like, wow, like at that point I've gone to so many different cons and met so many different people from so many different walks of life. Like I got to meet Luke Perry, you know, I got to meet the whole Cobra Kai cast when it was still had just come out on YouTube before it went to like Netflix and everyone else thought it was live. And I was like, people don't know, this is fuck out. You know, like I get to geek out over many years meeting so many different people, but in that moment I just remember just being so moved by not just meeting her, but also really seeing the breadth of the family and the energy that comes from the Star Wars fandom, and just feeling so happy for her to have that experience, and for anyone who got to share that with her. She's dope.
That's incredible. I think this is why we all come to you. So I have a question, a personal question from me to you.
Okay.
So I'll be chatting with
Yes, we're doing a movie.
Yes.
It's a coming of age movie.
Yes.
She just released a trailer for it. It's fun.
is there a question that I should ask you from you?
How challenging was it to cut the scene starring me in a cameo in it? Because I know he wanted it to be bigger and longer, and just I can't imagine the devastation and you know crafting that scene and then things so quickly over. Like, and you just maybe give him a hug because I'm sure he'll be sensitive.
Definitely will.
Yeah,
Look, thank you so much for coming out here.